Well, today, Alec Murdaugh's surviving son, Buster, testifying for the first time in the double murder trial. Buster has been in court since the start of this, showing support for his father, who is charged with killing Buster's brother and his mother. He testified he did not know about his father's alleged financial crimes and knew, quote, a little bit about his opioid addiction. Buster said he and his girlfriend went to the Moselle property. That's where the murders happened after his father called him about the killings.
Yeah, his demeanor was, he was destroyed. He was heartbroken. I walked in the door and saw him and gave him a hug and just broken down.
Could he speak?
Not really.
Was he crying?
Yes, sir.
All right, so joining us now for more insight, Matt Harris, podcast co-host of the Murdaugh Family Murders: Impact of Influence. Matt, thank you so much for being with us. Buster testified his father was destroyed by the deaths. How much of an impact do you think Buster's testimony had on this jury?
I don't think him talking about the state of his dad after the murders would have that much impact, because we've heard from other witnesses throughout this case, on the prosecution side even, about how broken up Alec appeared to be. So if there was something to take away from Buster's testimony today, I don't think that is the one that the jury is going to be like, yeah, he was really broken up. I think there's other things that came up that could help Alec.
All right, so Matt, even though Buster wasn't there the night of the murders on that Moselle property, how critical is his testimony to this case?
I don't know if critical might be an extreme wording for it, but I am surprised that the prosecution didn't come at him with, like, where you were nowhere near theirs for this 2-hour window. How did you wouldn't know what happened? How many times has your dad lied to you about drugs and lied to you about finances? But they never went that angle. And I think part of that was Buster's a pretty sympathetic figure to most people. I mean, his mother and brother were slain, shot to death in a really gruesome way. But what Buster did do was there was a question about when Alec went to his mom's house the night of the murders. The OnStar reported him taking the car around to the side of his mom's house. Well, Buster testified today that sometimes they would go around the side and park there because there was an entrance into like a little sunroom that led right into their parents' house. So occasionally, even though it wasn't paved or stone, it was grass, he claims that they would sometimes pull around there. So that maybe took some of the mystery away from the state side of it, was that he pulled into this little wooded area. Also, Buster talked about how his dad showered a lot. He said he was a big dude. He was 260 pounds or whatever. It's hot in the low country in May and June. And so he talked about the multiple showers he would take during a day. He also talked about how the day after the murders on June 8th, Buster, his girlfriend, and Alec returned to Moselle, and all three took showers that morning. Now, this is where SLED messed up, because SLED hadn't locked down that property. We know that Blanca had been over there cleaning. So now we know that 3 people showered there, which could explain the wet area by the tub that Blanca talked about. It could explain the khakis that were there, or he could have taken that shower the night before. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, so potentially introducing some doubt as to his guilt.
Yes.
All right, Matt Harris, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.